Hey, it's Shane with the Social Freedom Tribe. I'm a little bit sick today, so my voice sounds really different. I kind of like it. It sounds like pretty deep. But I took a break for a while from taking a vacation, a week in Portugal, and then, just catching up on life. I really wanted to put a video out there. I actually did put one out there, but then just so many distractions kept happening, so I ended up deleting the video and just wanted to redo it. And this is the topic of getting into group flow or flow within a relationship or relationships. And so what I noticed in Portugal was that there was kind of a different vibe. There's a different culture in that the streets were more narrow. It was kind of more dangerous to drive there. The sidewalks were also narrow and right next to the street. So you had to kind of just keep watching and seeing if there's cars, getting the timing right of when to cross the street between the cars. And there's just a way of getting into this group flow because you're kind of surrendering to the moment, surrendering to the other people, and then getting the timing right and stuff like that. It was pretty incredible. I also really enjoyed just being within a cohesive group that's kind of surrendering and leading itself. So when I say like something like group flow, what I mean is something like when there's like a Ouija board and there's all these different hands on it and it's kind of leading itself. There's no like one individual that's just nominated to be the leader and that person is, we're gonna go to this letter on the Ouija board. Everybody's putting their hands there and it's moving in a way where something is just happening organically. And it's pretty incredible. There's a feeling of you still have your individuality, but you have a certain amount stepped into this melting of the group. So you're part individual and you're part melted into the group. And a lot of your decisions are coming from how can I help this group, and everybody's trying to help you. So what are these elements? So I experienced this group flow, being melted into the group and not necessarily being this individual who's just deciding for himself with everything that he's doing, but kind of melted into the group and becoming part of this cohesive group that's Ouija boarding, organically making decisions and moving. It was a pretty incredible feeling. And when I was in the plane coming back, I just had this inspirative moment of what are the elements of that? How do I get it back? So I started really thinking about it, and first of all, I think there's this really key ability to surrender. And so I think that is just really key. And when I say surrender, I mean kind of melting into the group kind of feeling where you don't actually think that you need to think about yourself as much. You still have these key, like maybe 30% of you instead of 100% of you is thinking about your individuality, thinking about what you can need to do for yourself. You kind of feel like the group is understanding you, is feeling into what you're feeling, and is coming up with decisions for you rather than kind of against you, where you have to argue what you want to do. And so I feel like a lot of organizations, they have these managers that are kind of like, this is what we're going to do. It doesn't matter what you feel like. This is what we're going to do. And so there's like a lot of leadership where you kind of have to fight for that leadership spot so that you can kind of do what you want to do and everybody just has to follow you even if that's not what they want to do. Then in a group flow experience where there's no actual leader, it still feels like the group is being led and there's this part like you are seen in that group. And so that group, in order to have that feeling of get that feeling of surrenderedness, you have to have at least a couple people or at least one person that kind of sees you or sees the whole group and everybody's kind of seeing each other. So when I mentioned those streets, those narrow streets, the narrow sidewalks, and that may seem unrelated to the group flow, but it's really not to me because it's really you're looking around and you're seeing this person. Maybe you're walking on the sidewalk, it's narrow, and you look in through the windshield and you see this person and you have a sense of, are they going to stop or do they really need to go? And you're getting a sense of, I'm going to cross now because I just had this intuitive feeling that this person's going to stop or something like that. And you're kind of like looking at each other, and maybe the person driving is looking at you, and there's a lot of eye contact and where I was at, and there's a lot of sensing of, is this person going to cross now? Is this person going to stop their car? And it's very like just intuitive group flow kind of thing. And so when you're in this group and you have this intuitive sense of what the group as a whole is feeling, what you are feeling, and what other individuals might be feeling, and if everybody has that, then it's kind of an organic way of coming up with an idea that can help the whole group. And that's the difference between there being one leader or there being many leaders and organically happen. Some people are chill people, meaning they have, when it comes to chilling, they know exactly what to do. They have many ideas. I'm not necessarily kind of like a chill person. I might have ways of relaxing myself where I'm just by myself and I might meditate and read or write my notes or something like that. It's not really like something to do for a group. But maybe there's this person that is just chilling is their area. You say, I want to chill tonight, and they're like, I'm going to make a barbecue for you tonight, and I'm going to invite all my friends. We're going to get some beer and some wine. We're going to get some like nice burgers or some nice veggies and like throw them on there, and it's going to be a great time. I got you covered. And maybe maybe the group's not feeling that, and maybe they're feeling some more energy. They're just like more energetic, and they want to like do something energetic. And maybe there's the person like, I'm the energetic guy. I know exactly what to do. And so where this comes into play is when the group is feeling a certain way, maybe they're feeling chill. I want to have a chill night tonight. My brain's not really working that well. I can't really like focus. Is there any way that I can have a chill night and disengage? And the chill person's like, I got an idea. I know exactly what to do when the group feels this way. And maybe the group's feeling energetic, and the energetic guys takes that energy and says, I know exactly what to do. So there's no real one leader. It's kind of like everybody has these ideas. Maybe somebody just kind of knows what to do for themselves when they're feeling energetic or chill or something like that. And when the group feels a certain way and they kind of like look at each other and be like, we feel this way, does somebody have an inspired idea from where the group feels this way? And somebody says, I got that idea. And it kind of changes who's the leader, because the person with the idea says, here's my idea, and just has an ability to enroll the group into it. I feel like the group is like feeling this, and I got the idea for it. And they may say it in a way that the group feels inspired. And so it kind of organically happens of the group feels this, oh, I got an idea for that. The group feels this, oh, I got an idea for that. And as a tourist, it's not really as easy to come up with an idea. So I just really just completely surrendered to the group because I don't know this island. I don't know this area, and I don't know necessarily what to do from there. And so, but they were feeling into what I was feeling. They were like, Shane seems this way, and like other people in the group seem this way, and they're coming up with ideas. And so the reason I wanted to say that within a relationship is because relationship is way more intimate of an act. And I'm just speaking of kind of a monogamous relationship for now, but this is really applied to any polyamorous relationship or any open relationship where you're kind of getting a sense of your partner or multiple partners, and you're coming up with ideas from that. And so maybe the roles are just kind of divided. Maybe there is a sense of there is one leader that has more inspired ideas, and the other partner or partners are kind of just more the group feelers. And so you can have these different roles and still get a sense of group flow or relationship flow, where maybe I just have a partner that is really good at saying, this is what the group feels. And maybe I don't have a sense of that, but I have all these ideas, and maybe I'm like more of an analytical, logical person where it's like, if the group feels this way, this is the thing that you do. Like logically, I might understand that, or I might be a creative person that has like a lot of ideas and can come up with something, but maybe I don't have a sense of what the group is feeling. And maybe I just have a partner that's really good at that. Or maybe if it's a monogamous relationship and it's one-on-one, maybe she's saying, here's how I feel, here's how I think you feel, here's how I think we feel, and can kind of keep expressing constantly like what is going on, and you can kind of just be like, oh, from that I have this idea, and still like feel strongly and confident about the idea. And that's not like, what do you guys think about this? It's like there's a confidence in it of like, oh, that I got a great idea, let's do this. And so there's like still a confidence in it, and not like kind of like being, I don't know how to describe it. You're still stepping up as this leader vibe with confidence in your idea, because people won't really trust you if you're not feeling confident. But at the same time, there's a lot of freedom of choice. So you're just really saying the idea, trying to enroll people into it with this confidence. Oh, I got an exact idea for this. Oh, it's gonna be so great. Let's have a barbecue or something like that. Let's go to a club. Let's learn how to juggle. Something like that. There's some kind of inspired idea that has a lot of emotion and confidence behind it, but you're still asking for people's feedback, and people can still say no. So you're still like allowing freedom of choice and these individuality or group mentality of like, no, we're not really feeling that way. But if you're an analytical person, maybe it's really good to pair up with that person that can read the group or read the vibe within the relationship, and you can just come up with the ideas. And so that's a great way of like, what are the points of this? What are we trying to achieve? We're trying to achieve that sense of an organized mind. And so what I mean by that is that feeling of surrender is not like just like dying and just like, you're going to tell me what to do. It's a feeling of trust. It's a feeling of, I want to believe that we're going the right direction, and that I don't have to overthink every decision that I make. And that's like the part that I find in my life is just the most painful, is not that I'm constantly if I'm questioning what I'm to do, is what I'm like, am I making the right choice? That's pretty good. And at the same time, it's like a phase that I don't want to constantly be in that phase of like, I'm choosing to do something. Oh, do I want to go out to a restaurant or do I want to cook? And there's a phase of like questioning those decisions. I'm like, cooking saves money, I get better skills and it's healthier. Like, or maybe I'm just not feeling like cooking and I don't want to expend this energy. So maybe it's good to go and buy something. I know this great place. We can get a different sense, like different cooks, different area, different vibe. Maybe that'll inspire my creativity. Maybe I'll get this like dopamine spike that gets me motivated because there's novelty. That's what happens with novelty, is that there's this dopamine spike within it, and you start actually paying attention. You kind of let go of your like normal habits, and you're like, oh, this might be a place where I get some kind of reward. It's your brain is just thinking like, whoa, this is a new place. Like I'm gonna open my mind, and like, what's the culture here? There's like all this like creativity that happens from it. So maybe going out to the restaurant is a good idea, or maybe you're going out too much and you need to save some money, and then like you need to eat healthier, and you're going out too much and it's not that great, and you need to get some habits that get you into a flow and like a habitual sense of like getting shit done. So I'm really like presenting two options that are almost like equally good. And so there's like this question, like, should I save money? Should I get novelty? What should I do? So it's like a good phase, but at the same time, when I choose one, I'm gonna cook tonight. I don't want to like be cooking and be like, did I make the right choice? Did I make the right choice? And I'm not enjoying the process of cooking. I'm not enjoying the process of eating. So that's what kind of surrender is. I make the choice. I feel, and I'm kind of accepting the consequences of that choice. Or it may not be great, but I'm choosing it. So I'm not going to just question everything, or I'm going to question it, but in a short phase. And then when I like made that choice, there's no reason to keep questioning it, because I won't enjoy everything. So if I'm questioning everything my whole life, then there's nothing really to enjoy. And choices are really arbitrary anyway. So you kind of like, no matter which one you make, kind of just feel good about it anyway and just be like, this is the right choice. It's just the choice that it's your best guess. I like the way I describe leadership is like I like to call it best guess leadership, where it's nobody's asking for somebody to be super intellectual about, oh, I know exactly what to do. Theoretically, you have to do this. It's more everybody just really wants that leadership where you kind of feel like you're not making the wrong choice, or you're just kind of feeling relaxed into that decision or confident in that decision. So all of this to say, when we feel surrendered, really we can feel as a leader and surrendered. We can be like, this is the choice. I'm going to surrender to this choice. And that's kind of like when people say surrender to the universe, I'm like, the way I interpret that is, okay, these are like who I am. I'm gonna have this questioning phase later or before, but right now I made the decisions. I'm gonna fully go for it and surrender to the universe, meaning I'm just gonna fully go for these decisions and see what happens. I accept the consequences, blah blah. There's also a way that if somebody else is leading you, you're still making the choice. You're still leading yourself because you're choosing to have that person as a leader. And because I feel like even when I'm going throughout my day, I'm kind of surrendering to all these books that I've read or these other leaders, because they're like, oh, when it comes to cooking, you have to do this and this and this. Maybe I'll listen to the diet guys. I'm wearing my bulletproof sweatshirt because I follow the bulletproof diet. But even if I was vegan or even if I was paleo or whatever, as long as like I'm not fully constantly questioning it so that I'm never enjoying the diet or like constantly feel fear or something like that, it's like there's a phase of questioning and then you fully surrender to somebody else's leadership or to the universe or to your own leadership, meaning like these beliefs that you have and stuff like that you've just kind of like absorbed or you were born with or whatever the case. So there's still this whole point is to get, when you're in a group flow, you're surrendered to the group and there's this like relaxing vibe. You're not questioning yourself and like getting all this anxiety. You're just kind of relaxed into it. You feel good. You feel like your needs are being met because everybody can kind of see your needs and like feed you at the right times, or kind of notice that you're like kind of antsy and like we're gonna go to club because they kind of see it, and you just don't feel like you have to like constantly like be this individual who's constantly looking after their own needs. And it's also great to have that. So it's just like a whole like codependent, independent, interdependent. I think Stephen Covey talks about this. I think that might be the person. And it's like codependent might be that group flow, but just kind of like you never have individuality because you don't know how to, and you don't know how to speak up for yourself. So you're kind of like, I'm just gonna do whatever this person does. And there's independent where it's like, I'm not gonna follow anybody's leadership and I'm gonna do my own thing. And like, if somebody wants to be with me, they have to just do whatever I feel like doing. And there's interdependent where it's like I can kind of do both. So I don't think codependent as just like it kind of seems like the lowest paradigm, but there is like a whole sense of like that person can surrender to leadership, can surrender to these things. And independent is just kind of like can surrender to their own leadership, can surrender to their own beliefs, or just like they can handle themselves and maybe bring some people into it, but they're not necessarily like, oh, you feel like this, I'm going to come up with an idea from that. They're just kind of like, I want to do this. And interdependent is, I feel like doing this. I have the ability to speak up for myself and lead myself, or I have the ability to speak it and then kind of I'm with somebody where I trust that they'll come up with the idea that sprouts, that inspires, that gets inspired from the what I'm feeling. And so that's like kind of the interdependent vibe where you're kind of surrendered, you're kind of just feeling like you can relax into the group or relax into the relationship. And what I love about that is there's this organic Ouija board thing that happens. I heard that like there's like a book, Stealing Fire by uh, Jamie Wheal and Stephen Kotler, where they're talking about they start pretty much talking about SEAL Team 6, and it's a thing where it's like if there was one leader like leading the whole group and that leader got killed, the whole group would just be like, I don't know what to do right now, and then everybody would get killed. So they're trained to actually allow anybody just at the right moment to kind of like become the leader. So they've trained group flow by they create this group, and any one person who just kind of just feels right in that moment to be the leader, like they're just happen to turn the corner and be in the right spot, and they can tell the group whatever. I don't know hand signals, but they're like instantly tell the right group, like, I'm seeing something you guys are not, because I just turned this corner, you guys haven't. I'm telling you stuff, and I'm the leader now, kind of like thing. But it's just like kind of organically happens. Nobody's like fighting for the leadership spot, like, I want to be the leader, I want to be the leader, and everybody's stepping on each other's toes. It's like there's a cohesive unit, and at each moment there's a different leader, and maybe that person's leading, and like there's a different person that sees a different corner. It's like, I'm seeing something you guys are not. Like, I know that you guys were deciding to go that way, but I'm seeing something here, and like you're kind of like just trusting that person now, and it just kind of organically happens. It's a really incredible feeling, and I hope this is what I really want to see with relationships, is this whole interdependent vibe of like, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I see you feeling, this is what I think we're feeling, and maybe one partner does kind of take the precedence or the just priority in that moment. Maybe somebody's feeling sick. I'm kind of feeling sick, but I can like kind of handle myself. But maybe we're both feeling sick, or maybe she's feeling sick or something like that. And it's kind of like, okay, her needs take the priority because she's sick and she can't really like take care of herself right now. So there's like there's still not exactly a whole like only my needs like independent, or like only this person's needs like codependent. But it's kind of like, it just kind of like shifts organically. And that's what I love seeing, where it's just kind of more intuitive and not like logical, but logical has its place, and the feeling into the group has its place, and everything, just all the pieces just fit into this group where it just feels good, and you can kind of relax into it. You're not overthinking things, you're not questioning things constantly. It just feels great. And then maybe you have these phases of where you're questioning it, and you like make a slight adjustments, and you're like, I'm gonna go this way instead of that way. But you're not constantly questioning it and constantly feeling anxiety. So I hope that everybody can find some value out of this, and kind of like have some insights about relationships, or about group flow, about group dynamics they can take into the workplace or whatever. I hope this just inspires you in some way. I love you guys. I love all of your passions. If you're watching this, I'm just assuming that there's some kind of passion, and not just kind of like just watching TV and like melting into the TV. You want to actually build this system that you can melt into, that's actually just really growth oriented, instead of kind of just like grr kind of state. So love you guys. I trust you, and I just feel like we're gonna all make the world better. Love you guys. Have fun. Peace.